Welcome to Police Stop 2. I'm Inspector David Rowland of the Metropolitan Police Traffic. In this programme we put together a selection of clips from all around the world to show that bad driving is the same all over. Please remember that most accidents are caused by human error. That is, not paying attention, driving too close or driving too fast. We'll start with one of my favourite clips, the Christmas Day Horse Show. Over to Graham Cole.
While we were enjoying our Christmas morning, the Motorway Control Centre for the M11 were amazed to see this horse who got lost looking for its Christmas lunch. For ages, it kept coming up and down the bank. Unfortunately, the traffic guys didn't have any hay or lassos with them. The motorway warning signs are often some distance away from the actual hazard, but should never be ignored. Here, you see the sign flashing 30 mph. Yet, this car is doing at least 60. We only put the signs on for good reasons, and we turn them off as soon as we can when the hazard has been dealt with. This poor horse wasn't hurt and was eventually coaxed back to its field. Rush hour chase. The Leicester Traffic Police have noticed this car driving erratically and decided to follow. It's just after 8:30. It's Monday morning rush hour in Leicester. This driver has a total disregard for all other road users. It turns out that they were a team of wanted burglars from Liverpool coming back from a job. The police do not like having to follow vehicles driving like this, but are obliged to do so.
Refused to stop at 21. He's down the link towards Astor Island. Still Narva Road towards the city. He's going right. He's doing a U-turn now back towards Astor Island. He's back down Narva Road, back towards the motorway. Narva Road. Yeah, we're now coming up to Astor Island. It's in heavy traffic again, slow speed. Yeah, he's weaving in and out of the traffic, Astor Island. Yeah, he's up the curb, Astor Island. We thought he was going pinned in. He's got through. He's now going down the B414 towards headquarters on Everard's Island. Put the commentary. The sergeant in a marked vehicle's now immediately behind pursuit. I'll keep up commentary. Yeah, Fox Hunter Island. He's now going left towards Wigston down the B582. With a blue van towards Redford van failed to stop. Still going down towards Wexton on the 582. He's in very heavy traffic. No, it's sideswiped to blue van. Can you dispatch a divisional mobile to try and assist her? Read the vehicle. He's coming to the mini island at Blaby. He's in the right hand lane. He's going city bound down the 426. City bound. We're trying to block him in at County Arms. No, he's hit one of the police vehicles, the sergeant. It's A426. Still towards the city, just going by the county arms over the red lights. Now we enter into the police vehicle area.
The video car was called off, but only 15 minutes later they were forced to dump the car and make off on foot across some fields. 2 were arrested immediately by a dog handler, while the other 2, one with a broken arm, were arrested an hour later, trying to hitchhike on the M1.
Say let the vehicle go. Yes, we'll back out 10.
Las Vegas.
911 emergency, 114. 911 emergency.
I've got a runaway vehicle traveling in circles in the west parking lot of the Mirage. It's an unoccupied vehicle traveling in circles. Copy.
He said that doesn't know where the driver's at, but it's going around in circles with nobody in it. Oh! Oh!
Shoot out the tires.
Nah. No, you guys just stay away from that car.
Well, which one of you guys are quicker?
I'm quick, but that door,
The driver's door is open or unlocked. You think you're fast enough to get to it?
No, not with that front end swinging like that. You can't do that. Nope. You guys got a big semi-truck around here somewhere?
Pat, bust the window on this side.
Inside the circle, bust the window,
Ask him if we can bust
fly
it.
through.
If we got a PR-24.
It's right there, it's close.
Which one? Who's the owner of this car?
Yeah, do the break the
I got it.
Okay.
I got a PR-24.
Here, Steve.
Quite how this lady driver managed to get her car to do this trick was never explained. If you are leaving your vehicle unattended, put the handbrake on and the gear in park, if you have an automatic, before turning the engine off.
That'll work. Nice.
This couple was stopped for speeding on the A12 in East London. The officer couldn't believe his eyes when instead of getting out, they just sat and shouted at each other.
At the junction with Fieldgate Street in front. PA accident, van and a motorcyclist. And the call, CAD 2711. I'm coming.
The driver's excuse was that he was speeding to scare her, so she'd shut up. She said she was trying to get him to take her to hospital because her tooth was killing her. If you are a passenger in a car that's being driven dangerously, you shouldn't be afraid to upset the driver's ego and complain. In this case, the officer let the driver off with a caution. But she didn't. Rude drivers. These guys knew the occupants of the car in front, though they weren't exactly friends.
throwing a can over the Capri. So it can be done for litter.
Oscar 516. Please come on first.
I'm not going to get too close.
The driver was fined for careless driving and the passenger was fined £50 for litter. This was the first incident that went to court that had video car evidence to back up the police case.
How close is he to that one in front? He's about 6 foot away.
Making real signs out the window now.
Is he?
Yeah.
You, stop! You!
The driver was fined £250.
He's going through. Oh, and a red light on him as well.
Rude, aggressive driving is all too common nowadays. With the introduction of more and more video cars, this sort of driver's days are numbered. Here, 3 dangerous manoeuvres, which could have resulted in any number of accidents, has gained him virtually nothing.
He's up again. Jeez. Yes, once Mike again overtaken on the inside. It's causing the
These guys have forgotten the 2-second rule. Here we go. Wait for the vehicle in front of you to pass a fixed point, like a bridge. Then say aloud, only a fool breaks the 2-second rule. If you've passed the fixed point before finishing, then you are driving too close. This aggressive driving cost the driver over £500 and 3 points. It was lucky no one was on the hard shoulder at the time. Watch this driver. He is so impatient he cannot wait for the van to pull over and puts his car across the central verge. He pleaded not guilty and the video clip was shown in court. He was found guilty. Hanger Lane chase. These two were spotted leaving a pub near Hanger Lane in West London. The baby on board sign didn't seem to compute with the 2 youths in the car.
Petrol cap.
Very short distance away, and so they can transport the back for him.
There gets down.
Yeah, we'll try the local Nick to see if we can get some assistance on that score, Oscar. Yes, I'm much obliged to you. Thank you, Oscar. I'll give you a shout when I've got a result, Oscar.
Yeah, I'm a shout.
Yeah, okay.
You see, you will be.
Go on, go!
Get the lights on. Get some noise, John.
This driver should have stopped. By keeping on going, he got himself into more and more trouble.
Just 62 man ahead and pivot.
Ashbourne Road, West 3, eastbound away from the Hanger Lane, following a beige Astra L, B Bravo 477, Hotel, now into Newton Stop, now into the Ridings West 5, going left of the Ridings, heading south.
Heading to the Ridings, West 5, going south.
Now back to the Hanger Lane, B477.
The driver gave himself up while the passenger legged it, only to be arrested 25 minutes later back on Hanger Lane. Not only was the car stolen, there was a stolen jacket and mobile phone from the pub, as well as evidence of other thefts. The driver failed to appear in court and was later arrested and sentenced to 2 years probation, disqualified for 12 months and ordered to retake the driving test. The passenger was given a conditional discharge for 12 months and disqualified from driving for 6 months. What? No MOT? We thought we'd show you a few examples of the conditions some people drive their vehicles. Do you know you can be fined and gain points on your licence for every tyre that is defective? This driver should be done for dangerous driving because the smoke screen is a hazard to other road users' visibility as well as their health. If your vehicle smokes, even only a little bit, please take note of the following. It's costing you hard cash because it's burning a lot of oil. It's usually a sign that something's wrong, like the engine is about to seize. You stand a real chance of being pulled up, as you obviously haven't had the thing MOT'd recently. Do everyone's health a favour, get the smoking stopped, and that includes diesel engine drivers as well. This Norfolk biker claimed he was only testing his bike as he was fixing it up. Well, okay, but a silencer and an up-to-date tax and insurance would have saved him a lot of aggro. Did you spot the guy on the pavement? Was he drunk or in shock from the noise? Cleveland Chase.
Apparently, security guards have a suspect involved in grand theft of a motor vehicle of some kind. He's supposed to be on scene. That's all we have as of right now. Gonna wait for further. Get on it, Mel. Get on it! Get on it! Get on it, Mel! Pursuit of a vehicle, they are taking an aggravated robbery. Get on it, Mel. Watch that bump, man. Watch his median. Come on. You wanted to continue? 301, be advised, we're right on it. Eastbound Carnegie. Eastbound Carnegie. There's a car right in front of him. Southbound 21. Northbound 21st. Northbound we got a chopper flying over there so you can pick them up. If the chopper picks them up, you have the system. You're right on it. Eastbound Prospect. Coming up to 30th Street. Still eastbound. You got a car up at 36. Eastbound, crossing 36, Prospect eastbound. Coming up to 40, it's still eastbound. We got 3 occupants, I believe. Crossing 40, it's still eastbound, coming up to 55. Still eastbound, coming to 55. You're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose it. Beautiful.
Things get done differently in Cleveland, USA. Because the occupants of this car are almost certainly armed, the officers can't and don't take any chances. The motorway cameras sequence. These students have a flat tyre and no car jack. So the guy is trying to hold the car up while the girls undo the wheel nuts. But why are they in the outside lane? They could have easily got across to the hard shoulder. They must know they're in the wrong as they hop over the barrier as they hear the police car approach. The message is, get safe before changing the tyre. 3 lives are worth more than a tyre. The motorcyclist at the top of the picture has stopped for a cup of tea. The motorist has stopped on the edge of the outside lane and crossed the carriageway to ask for directions. Mad or what? We've speeded up this sequence. A car which has missed the junction and is now illegally backing up. The passenger decides he can direct the driver better if he gets out. Well, it was that, or he feared for his life. It's raining. This nutter has missed the turn-off. He backs up in the outside lane and waits for nearly 3 minutes before getting off. This is how multiple accidents happen. The driving instructor.
I'm Martin Caswell, and I teach people to drive in and around Newbury. I found that the thing that unnerves my pupils and myself is the way in which pedestrians, drivers and even cyclists treat us with very little respect. In town, I teach my drivers to always be on the lookout for children and old people, as they tend to behave more unpredictably than others. One never can tell what's going to happen next. Watch the kids on their bikes. Who's taught them traffic sense? Perhaps this guy. Look how he pushes in. And here we go, same guy, no signals, forces us to stop. How rude can you get? Watch this driver who forced us to stop. Or Mum here, who wasn't about to give way to a learner driver. Cars overtaking inconsiderately are a constant problem. I try and make my pupils drive at the appropriate speed for the road and traffic conditions, i.e. not too slow or fast, but that doesn't stop this sort of behaviour.
That's why he's overtaking you, because we were going a little bit slow. So we brake softly now, not too hard, off the brake. That's why I said softly. Braking, clutch down. No, clutch down. Oh, clutch down.
This pupil was driving at about 70, getting dual carriageway experience. How fast was he going, I wonder?
That's what they're sick from, isn't it? And almost every time I go out for, I always see somebody with side lights, somebody with no lights on. Couldn't get any worse than this, could it?
The key to good and safe driving is to watch, plan and anticipate well ahead.
The 4x4 chase. Early Sunday morning on the M1 in Leicestershire. The patrol car came across these lunatics in a stolen Sierra. The high speed and manner of driving attracted the police. Again, there is every opportunity for them to stop. They chose differently and put lives at risk, including their own.
23, it looks as though they may be going 512 towards Loughborough. It may be going back onto the motorway. He's A512 towards Shepshed now, over. 74 miles an hour down the 512. It's 70 miles an hour in Thringston. Good. Thringston. He's heading towards Whittick now. Yes, we're still behind him. Hall Lane, he's turned right into Hall Lane. Over. He's gone left in Breedon, he's gone left. Melbourne Lane, round a single track road. Over. 50 miles an hour. Towards Wilson, Melbourne Lane towards Wilson, over. He's going up the dead end, he's going up towards the church, over.
They bail out, but are quickly caught and return to the remand home from which they had absconded, only to abscond again the next day. Porsches. Most drivers know they shouldn't undertake on the motorway, but a lot don't realise it's illegal, and if caught, you can be prosecuted for dangerous driving. At 145 miles per hour, it would take over 320 metres to stop. That's the length of over 3 football pitches. This guy would certainly have been disqualified and have been heavily fined. But stopping on a wet road would take him almost twice the time and distance. Thames Valley, Heli Telly. After a 999 call alerted the police, this guy was quickly located. He really should have stopped, as he's no chance of getting away from the helicopter, which was coordinating the pursuit.
Still proceeding towards junction 9. He's now approximately 400 metres short of junction 9. Still overtaking into the face of oncoming traffic. 9 interchange. Heading south, M40. Heading south, M40. Received, HP.
A maroon-coloured vehicle, M40, junction 9, southbound, now 1 mile south of junction 9, lane 2. Vehicle has 2 traffic cars behind by about 200 metres. We'll give you exact locations as we progress down.
Roger, Tango Alpha 9-1, Tango Alpha 9-1, motorway.
Not one, we're listening in, southbound, in excess of 90 miles an hour, coming to the hard shoulder, 9-1, accelerate. And he's on the hard shoulder, coming on the inside of the traffic car. Tango Alpha 9-1 is now the lead vehicle. 2 traffic cars still coming underneath, joining the convoy from the rear.
Roger, that's Tango Alpha 9-1 behind target vehicle.
Coming off at junction 8,
Roger, leaving the motorway, junction 8.
The chopper allowed the traffic cars to hang back until the right moment. Like now.
Gone to a stationary position. A vehicle is at a standstill on top of junction 8 and the traffic cars are starting to box him in.
He'd recently been released from jail and broke a court order not to visit an ex-girlfriend. He'd assaulted her and fled.
The traffic officers are out of the vehicle. The vehicle has the occupants out, so they are arresting him. No further units to this location.
Leave domestic rows at home, or at least stop the car. Motorway madness. Heavy goods vehicles cannot use the third lane of a motorway. This yellow van is in many ways driving just as dangerously as the speeding Porsche because he won't pull over from the middle lane. He's forcing the frustrated lorry driver to undertake.
Look at this. It's unbelievable.
This driver in Wales was flashed by a patrol car who wanted her to move over into the inside lane because she was driving too slowly and people were undertaking her. The driver panicked.
Make sure you pull on the left. We'll stop the whole traffic up. What the fuck's going on? You've got to be just totally brain dead, haven't you, to do that? I'm reversing now. You've got to be... Look out, she's up again. Yes! Oh, well done. That's the one.
This front car has slowed down in protest at the car behind tailgating him. The tailgater was prosecuted for careless driving and heavily fined. Once committed to a slip road, you must continue to the next junction. The driver was fined £100.
Gosh, truth. That was close, wasn't it? Ooh, went the crow. What's the red one going to do?
Red one,
Red one's turned round. Can we see it? There's a lorry towards. Doing a 3-point turn.
Yep.
And the lorry's hit his brakes.
To come down to Elliot Street,
Hit his brakes. He's got about 4 or 5
We've
points
just found the keys nearby and we will make our own way back to
Straight towards someone flashing his headlights and then
How often have you been caught in a traffic jam and had no choice but to stick it out? This character's impatience cost him £250 and 3 penalty points. The traffic police are always advising us not to stop on the hard shoulder unless we really have to. This lorry is the reason why. The driver was tired. More motorway accidents happen on the hard shoulder than anywhere. So if you have to stop, pull well over and get out of the car. If you feel tired when driving, please get off the motorway and take a break. Too many accidents are caused by tired motorists. Late braking. All the following clips are caused by a simple lack of driver concentration. This old clip shows what happens when you don't stop at a red light. The van driver would have lost his licence as well as been heavily fined with penalty points. Bikers. This character had travelled several miles around Liverpool before the traffic guys came across him. They drew some connections to the difference between his intelligence and the planks before booking him. If you're hit when you're on a bike travelling at any speed, then you are guaranteed a hospital stay or worse. It's not worth the gamble. He pleaded guilty to careless driving and was fined £100 and 7 points.
Yes, I'd overtake the motorcycle. Give you some to see if I can. Always made another fourth lane. Did you get that? Good stuff. I don't know about you, but I think I've seen enough.
Thank you.
This biker was about to be pulled over for speeding when the video caught this. Watch the red car. He'll slam his brakes on as the biker slows and points at the speed camera.
Know where the cameras are? No, he's pointing to it.
Little did he know, he got a £40 fixed penalty fine. Bikers are so very vulnerable, especially when there are loonies like this around. Pedestrians. This driver is speeding along the A11 in Norfolk. He doesn't notice these stupid kids playing chicken under the bridge until it's too late to react. He got stopped and fined. The kids were also soon picked up. The response from one of the parents to the police was, "Haven't you got more important things to do?" The statistics show that pedestrian deaths are on the increase while motoring deaths are falling. As we've said before, a lot of pedestrians don't treat the car as the dangerous, lethal weapon it really is. Here's a lady in Newbury. She could have easily ended up a statistic. Can anyone tell us what he said as he put the phone down? Fixed penalty of £20. He was reading a newspaper. It was an expensive read. This is no way to stop when a traffic car has pulled you for speeding. This Norfolk driver was heavily fined for dangerous driving. Night madness. The police in Yarmouth, Norfolk, knew the occupants of this car as part of a group nicknamed the Jetty Kids. They are regularly pulled up for speeding and showing off in their cars. This guy claimed he didn't realise it was a police car following him. He was let off after a brilliant speech and promising he'd never do it again. Just 2 nights later, he's again caught on camera speeding. Yup, disqualified for 6 months. These show-offs usually end up in court or dead. The emergency services couldn't take the risk that this van wouldn't explode. This fire closed the M40 at rush hour and caused chaos. Over the limit.
We're now in the chase.
This character had stolen his brother's BMW. He was found driving around and around Southall, drunk out of his mind. He set off down the M4 with various forces keeping track of him.
Behind XA3 up here.
Yes. We will stay behind.
XA3 to come to you guys, got up to 629 behind you, the video camera. Let's proceed up here, posting roadworks. Going down to 1 lane now. Just past, approaching the junction 4 of the M4.
Received, we're now going M4 back into our section, back in the MPD.
Yeah, there's so many cars at the junction, that's the suspect now. Yes, understood.
They could not understand why he would drive fairly slowly in the dark, but speed up when he got to lit parts of the motorway. It turned out later that he only had one eye. He'd lost the other in a previous car accident.
It appears the driver's not wearing his seatbelt either. We're now coming off the M4 spur onto the slip road to the A4. The traffic lights are red.
Going through the red lights.
Through the red lights, joining the A4 eastbound back into town.
Eventually, he ended up back where he started, in London.
Passing the junction with Park Lane.
Be aware that traffic is stopped at the Parkway roundabout.
MP's turned off the Parkway, off the Parkway. He's coming to another red light. He's gone straight across the Parkway, through the red light. The red lights. He's done the red lights at 40 miles an hour with the car coming across. It's not on his way.
So all units approach this vehicle with caution. He's not going to stop for you. Approach this vehicle with caution. Oscar 69, keep the coming.
He's on the red light at Park Avenue. He's still going back up towards the Uxbridge Road. He's stopped it. Park Road. He's at a lamppost. He's going now. Hey, what? Go!
The reason he crashed was because he pulled the keys out of the ignition as he prepared to do a runner. The steering lock came on, and so did 2 years jail. European footage. Here's a series of clips from Spain, showing how not to overtake. Young drivers. This young, inexperienced driver picked the wrong place to try and overtake. He's broken 3 highway code rules here. Overtaking at a junction, with oncoming traffic, and on a ghost island. This exhibition of boy racer type impatience cost the driver £50 and 2 points on his licence. His insurance could get very expensive, if not impossible to get, if he's caught driving like this again. Young people are the most vulnerable group of road users. 1 in 3 male deaths and 1 in every 4 female deaths aged between 17 and 25 are caused every year by road accidents. That's more than any other cause. Please, don't let this ever include you. Treat the roads and other drivers with respect. And finally, this is the famous chase from San Diego to Burbank to Malibu and then through the San Fernando Valley. The chase was relayed live on primetime TV, off and on for over 5 hours. Apparently, the man had been turned down for a job with a bus company, so he stole one instead. This is the exclusive area of Los Angeles, with its swimming pools and movie stars. The sparks are a chainmail fence he crashed through and is being dragged along the road. Finally, he turned into a dead-end street in Brentwood. It took a long time to work out who they'd caught, as the driver gave about 5 different names and then refused to speak. Police here were firing handguns at the windscreen, which persuaded the driver to give himself up. He's been charged with 10 counts of assault on officers and 1 count of vandalism and is currently undergoing psychiatric treatment before trial.
The way you drive can make the difference between life and death. None of the people featured in this program thought anything could happen to them, but it did. Please drive carefully.